Right, I think I might be on my own tonight. Good evening, everybody. If you are watching, if you're watching on a replay, hello, thank you for watching the replay. Okay, so first things first, get myself some Jack Daniels. For the record, BB Black Dog is playing in the background. These guys are pals of mine. I've done some work with them, and their music is available to go find on YouTube. But they're more than happy for me to have it in the background of my live streams. So no algorithms coming to get me, please. Hopefully you can't hear the fan. It's been a bit warm here in the UK the last couple of days. I might just sit here and drink whiskey for the whole hour. Right. Oh, I've got a couple of bits and pieces already on the board. I'm going to do some traditional inking today. Got some bits and pieces for outliers there, which you'll probably get to see on the show with Joe. Hiya, how you doing, Ronnie? Thank you for turning up. It's very nice. So yeah, I've got to probably show some stuff on Fulton Land on Thursday. But this is going to be for Only Death Can Save Us. Partly for Book 2, partly for Arrow Comics. It's just a story page. It's actually the final story page for issue 2. Like I say, you'll see it all in the in book 2. Everything will be in there. Like I say, it's been a bit warm in the UK. We've got the G7 going on at the moment. So Boris the Knob, our dictator in chief, has decided that for the sake of the country, we are going to stay with lockdown. Well, it's not really lockdown at the moment. It's kind of like COVID rules. It's getting a bit silly now because so many people have had the vaccines. Like, what's the point in a vaccine if you're not going to let people go out and go about their business? It's not so bad for me. I can work at home. It doesn't really change my business a lot, but there's lots of people trying to run pubs and restaurants and what have you are suffering. It's not a good thing. Of course, all the people who are more than happy to have these restrictions get paid anyway or can sit at home. Mostly journalists, it must be said. Anyway, the G7 was on and they all turned up. Of course, it didn't bother them. They could go to the cocktail bar and all have a bit of a hug. But as George Carlin said, it's a big club and you ain't in it. So let's just make comics instead. Hi, Sugar. Thank you very much for coming. I wanted to come on to your roast earlier, but unfortunately I've got to teach now on a Monday night, so I couldn't come on. If I'm not around tomorrow, I'll drop by. Never like to sort of like just drop it if you've got like guests on and stuff and they're doing their thing. I don't like to take up space. But it's all your show's always good fun. I always enjoy it. Really starting to enjoy the inking process now, the traditional inking process. I'm almost 100% that I'm going to do the second book traditional. So I was looking to, keep the general feel of the book artistically, but looking to do something that's slightly different. And the traditional inking may well be what I'm looking for on that. So I don't know how much of this I'll get done tonight, because I just go live for an hour just to show people what's going on. But we'll see how far I get. So like I say, I've got the fan on. It's a bit warm in the UK at the moment. I think it may rain tonight, actually. Normally we get thunderstorms, so we might have some by Wednesday. And I'm a bit tired because we have a new addition to the family. Got a little kitten, and Chairman Meow is in charge now. So he's keeping us up a little bit, because you can't just leave them when they're little. So he's keeping me up. It's reminiscent of having kids. Very weird. We didn't have any kids. Because I won't be able to do this. Just me and Sim talking for 3 hours. Sugar, I could listen to you and Sim talking. If I'd have been around and wasn't teaching, I'd have definitely come on then. If I'd have seen you were on your own. I talked about my trip to the con, unboxed stuff. I should be showing these. So I'm reading them to myself, but for people who are watching on the replay, they can't see these. So you actually went to a con, Sugar. I thought I saw. Did you live stream via your phone from the con? What was it like? Good afternoon, Luke. The idea of going back to a con is like, that's pretty cool. Because I'd quite like to actually go to a con where I could sell books. Because up until now, I've not had books per se to sell at a con. It's always been prints and art. Although I've only got a limited number of Only Death Can Save Us Book 1 left. So hopefully some more people pick them up before the end of In Demand. I'm turning the In Demand off 2nd of July. Ooh. Yes, I did. Here we go. Put that up. I did a little half-hour stream to come with my phone. I didn't know what I was doing. I had a lot of fun. I did. Yeah, do it. Yeah, it's great. I love seeing things like that. He also announced the formation of the Red Dress Press. Hail Mo Biggs. I feel blessed to have these people in the chat with me. Thank you for turning up. Listen to me babble for an hour and do some inking. Hail Mo. Hail Mo. Mitographia. I've not seen you around. Thank you for turning up. Very, 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 very much appreciated. Nice to have new people in the chat. So I was saying before everybody got in, our floppy-haired leader has decided to keep the COVID restrictions going, as we have a G7 what is it called? Seminar, meeting? I don't know. Bunch of cunts. I think that might be it. It's a club. It's a club. We ain't in it. That's about the size of it. So yeah, I saw a picture and it had like Macron, Biden, Boris Johnson, that twat from Canada, and I think Ursula von der Leyen was there, and you just thought, oh, if ever there was a time for structural integrity to be lost in a building, that would be the moment. But there you go. I suppose I'm going to get banned now for hate speech, because you're not allowed to do sarcasm or irony anymore. This is my favourite song, if you can hear it in the background. It's my favourite BB Black Dog number. So I'm really getting on quite well with this pen, this brush pen. Really enjoying it. At some point, I think I might actually pick up a real brush and see how I get on. But I'm getting on quite well with this. Mm-hmm. So occasionally you have to pull the odd fibre out of it. You can see there's one just going on there now. I think that's gone now. Yeah, just occasionally. I got myself some spare ones. I had to have them imported in from America. So the Japanese, I had to get them from America. Bizarre. But yeah, enjoying it. Here we go. That's Kenneth Roquefort. Oh, blimey. Mitographia is Kenneth Roquefort. Well, what a fantastic artist to have in the creator to have in the stream. Thank you for turning up. Yeah, no doxing. It wasn't me. That's all that matters. It wasn't me. Some of those small bits, I might get in and use the pen actually. So it's still the case that I can never remember the bloody name of this. It's Japanese. I can never remember the name, but it's a lovely pen. So this one is a really good pen, and these Tombow pens are great for little bits and pieces. I'm using them quite a bit. They give a really nice, for a felt tip pen, they give a really nice line. So I don't use them all the time, just for little bits. And the Pentel, wherever that is, Pentel refillable. Yeah, this one. That one's great for long, thick lines. I've got a real treat for everybody who bought the first book, and is if they're in for the second book. Preston Savado is doing me a painting of Dee and Chrissy, and I'm going to be putting that on as a secret perk, just for my email list, just for the people that have bought the first book and bought into the whole thing. I will be showing that soon. But he's showing me the pencils. They're absolutely bloody stunning. He draws these really sexy women, and I never thought about. I mean, Chrissy is she's kind of got a sexy gear on, but she's kind of the girl next door. So I tend not to sort of overblow the sexy nature of it, but to have another artist who can do that kind of thing so well, and reproduce your characters, it's just so really looking forward to showing everybody that. And like I say, that'll be that print will be a gift to those people who backed the first book with a secret perk. So what I'll have to do is duplicate some of the perks and make them so that they've got that in there for free. I have to organise that properly. And I've got another special one, which I won't announce just yet, but again, another fantastic artist that everybody knows. And that'll be especially that'll just be for the first, it's either two, I think I'll probably make it the first 200 backers. So the first 200 backers they'll just get that put in their package. So if you're a first-time adopter, if you got the book or got yourself on the email list or whatever, and you get the free, or you get the special link, as it were, you get the secret tier links. You'll basically get 2 pieces of fantastic art and a lovely print for nothing, for zilch. So. And I know for a fact that Joe's got some fantastic ideas for his perks for Outliers, which I have to say I'm thoroughly enjoying inking at the moment. Jim, that's the one. Yeah, Kuretake. Yep. Thank you. You got a better memory than me. Yes. Yeah. Using that one as well as the Pentel. I use the pocket Pentel as well because it's really good for filling in. And just have to say, Jim Cox. Hi, Jim. Thank you very much for turning up. Jim, was it you that got the Terminus at Fenton's Green art? I think it was, wasn't it? Wait for that answer. That was my first graphic novel. Terminus at Fenton's Green was for Marcosia, and I've moved on a long way since then. I hope I have, but still very proud of it. It's not bad for a first go, and it was horror as well. That's the last thing I expected to do, was a horror book. I'd drawn other stuff before that for Unstoppable Comics, and that was kind of like superhero stuff, very capes and cows. So yeah, I wasn't expecting to do that, but very enjoyable work. An author called was Adam something or other. I can't remember. I'm really crap at names. That's not because Adam isn't a great guy. It's because I'm crap at names. Really good story. I've got some other Only Death Can Save Us inks I'll show in a little while. Gone full on cosmic now. Use that pen. Yeah. So Rick has written me the second book after I gave him the basic breakdown of plot. He's made it work for me, which is great. And it's bonkers. Can't wait to get my hands on the pencils now. I think I should be starting in August, which means I can put the campaign up in September. We get going on that, and should be able to get everything delivered for January. Basically, same schedule as I put into book one. I was hoping to get it launched in the summer, but it's a good thing because I had other work to do, and just one of those things. It happens. It's good problems to have. Yes, you did. Yeah, that's the answer. That's the answer. There you go. Yes. First off, thank you very much for buying. Very nice of you. and glad it got there. Presume it got there all in one piece. Okay, that's coming on all right. See if I can get some deep blacks in before the end of the stream. Perfecto. Nice, thanks, Jim. Right, there we go. Let's go on and use that Pentel brush. Because like I say, it does a nice steady long line and thick lines as well, quite nicely. So I had noodles for dinner. We cooked some noodles. I'm bloody hungry again. So I didn't get a lot of training in today because I was teaching. But a full session tomorrow. I say Boris Johnson put a bloody spanner in the works, so I won't be doing any close combat, sparring or grappling or anything like that for another month. But we can still get some good training in. I'll get these coloured up as well for issue 2's got a print date at the end of this month. So next week we'll need the flats done. My daughter did some flats for me. She was really good at it actually, but I don't know if she'll be available because she's got some university work to finish off. So I might have to find someone else quickly. Not sure. So the good thing about the Only Death colours is that they're quite bright and old school. That's the idea of them. And I'm confident doing those kind of colours, so I can get someone else to flat, and then I can just adjust where needed and put the two-tone in, like the shade and then the light, and then put in the highlights. When I'm doing that, when I'm into some of that, I might do that on a live stream to show just another part of the process. What's that? I think I'm getting attacked by bugs. I am. So you can see, what I do basically. But as far as like, I know colours like the modern colours that's not me. I'm not going to be able to do that. If I was going to do that, I'd get somebody else involved. Talking of colours and wonderful colourists, I've got Star Blades, is it, from Carl Ritter? Really lovely looking book. I haven't read it yet, but it looks fantastic. So I'll be flipping through that this weekend again, and actually giving it a read. But it did look beautiful. Lovely work. Everything about it was looking beautiful. Right, I think I'm going to do some filling in. Get the other brush out. Do these first. Something else I got at the weekend, actually, was I got myself a copy of Kilt Raven. Got an Essentials. It's great stuff. Love that. Get the opportunity. Get yourself that. 12:02. Okay, so got some time to put some black in. Let's get that in there. Just so, because I'm never going to get this all finished in the hour. You at least get a feel for the piece. And I'll give you a look at a couple of finished inks that I did the other day. And then next time I'm doing digital, I'll throw up that Preston Acevedo piece. Is it Acevedo? I can never tell. It's an E, isn't it? So Preston's piece. There you go. I'll throw that up, and you can see that because it's wonderful. And I've done a return piece actually because he wanted a piece as well, and that's D or Death and Doc Salem. And I think I'm thinking of maybe doing like a series of just finding the time, of course. But I'd really like to do a series of images with D or Chrissy or both, and other people's IP. So I don't know, put D and Chrissy in with Cyberfrog. I mean, that would be cool. Or I don't know, the Wolfpack one, or maybe I not necessarily like the well-known ones, just or the big ones. I would say like some of Dave Brink's characters. They're just superb. He's got a fantastic roster of bad guys. Or that the undersea the deep sea diver from Outcast 3, Downcast 3, sorry, something like that. So just a set of pin-ups with D alongside other people's IPs. I can't get permission off them, obviously. But that kind of thing can be cool. But we'll see how the Doc Salem one works out. I'm quite pleased with it. Preston seemed pleased with it. So we'll do one for do the Natverse with Sim. That would be quite cool. Any of those characters. It works. Let's get some. Something I didn't quite expect is just how relaxing traditional inking is. I was expecting to be totally stressed all the time. It's like, my God, if I cock this up. I mean, you obviously, I'm still thinking that you have to be ultra careful, but there's just something lovely about putting a brush on paper. That my journey, I came to it the wrong way around, so to speak. I started off inking digitally because I had no confidence with a brush, basically, and up until very recently, I hadn't been aware of just how good the brush pens were, or even if there were brush pens as good as they currently are. I don't know how long they've been around. But once I got my hands on a few of them, I just started falling in love with the whole concept of doing it, and then really taking a deep dive into the kind of work that I love from the Bronze Age. Something else also occurred to me is that a lot of the life that I see in it is just down to real lines rather than ultra smooth ones. So I just took the plunge, stumped up the courage to put pen to paper, and I'm glad I did, because it's changed the way I do things. Still, I mean, anybody that's seen this, a couple of weeks will know that I still do digital penciling because that just works for me. But thoroughly enjoying this. And like I say, was not prepared for just how relaxing it was. That's starting to take shape. There's a bit more whiskey. Thank you, Gold Gourmet Comics. Thank you. So yeah, coming at it from that direction was a bit weird. I don't think many people come in it from that direction. Like start off digital and end up traditional. But the other thing I did obviously is I came back to comics in 2010, and I'd already bought myself a Wacom. Was sort of deep into the whole digital production process because of the work that I'd done in the previous 30 years. So it seemed like a sensible thing to do. I could see purely from my own experience in production and publishing that the digital process would be cleaner. It would and could save me time, all those kind of things. And I used it to generate my style. I used it to create my style. And I think in some ways it was maybe sort of trying to think of the term. It was a crash course. That's kind of what it felt like. And then it worked because then I got myself a real brush, and I'd sorted out those issues of style before I had to start worrying about the real thing, that as in traditional artwork. And that's not to say I'm the finished product, absolutely not. I've got a long way to go. Still learning all the time, still trying to steady my hand. Experience is everything. So as much as I got a bit of a crash course in comic production and using the digital process to aid me to create my own style, there's still no substitute for real, physical experience. And that's what I'm getting right now, because I'm going to pump out quite a few pages. Oh, Scotsman. Yes, the Guritaki brush is fine. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Scotsman. That's very lovely. What a lovely bunch I've got here this week. Is that gold? Yes, indeed. Hello, George. Nice to see so many good people here. It's humbling. It's so humbling that I'm going to have to drink more whiskey. So for everybody who's turned up halfway through, varying grog. Good evening. That looks pretty sweet. Pink and relaxing. That's the whiskey talking. Yes, indeed. So just a quick recap. G7 bastards have still not gotten rid of the COVID rules, and it's a big club. You ain't in it. It's been a bit hot, and it's going to rain on Wednesday. There you go. Oh, and I got a new cat. So that's the recap for everybody. Oh, and I only go for an hour. So in about 5 minutes or so, I'm going to show off some other already inked work for peeps to see. And if you can hear any running water, it's the pond outside, because all the doors are open. Show off the cat. show off the cat. I can't show him off. He's gone to bed because he's so small. I'll see if I can show him off next week. I'll organise it. He won't have grown that much in a week. There you go. There's a reason to come back next week. Come back and see the cat. We just got him this weekend, and my daughter rides. So at the stables, they have feral cats, and they're kind of half feral because the owner does feed them, but not regularly. So there's still mouses. They're still out there hunting, and they kind of have litters every now and then. And so we thought we'd keep our eyes out because our last cat died last year. He was 14, so he'd gone on a bit. And it was time to get a new addition to the house. And bless him, he's a bit loud in the middle of the night still because he's only 5 weeks old. So we've been taking turns. It's like having kids again. So my wife's gone off to bed because she's got tomorrow away from work. So next Monday, I'll bring the little Chairman Meow on, and you can see him. But you'll have to be here early because I'm sure he'll be off to bed soon after that. Thank you, mate. Thank you. It's very kind. My cat turned 11 last month. Something happens to him, I will be a mess. Yeah. I mean, we were. I've never been much of a cat person, to be honest, but you get attached to little things, you know. And we got attached to Toto. That was his name. And yeah, he was a great cat. He was such a great cat. He was a real little git. And they all have their own characters. And so he left us last year. And we had to wait a little while, and now's the time. Meow, yeah. That's a great name for a cat. Yeah. I think my wife may be calling it something else, but my son and me call it Chairman Meow. So it won't be that when its name is called in the vets. Get those lines on there. Something else I've been doing is using markers. So I'm just using this Copic marker to do the Kirby Crackle. This is nice and rough. Oh. Right, what's the time? 10:02. Nice whiskey glass. So, 2 seconds. So this is the piece. These are the pieces from Only Death Can Save Us. I was saying they've gone a bit cosmic. So yeah, I can show these 2 pieces. So I'm having uber fun with this. And this is so in the Arrow comics, what I'm doing is I'm putting in some filler pages because we split the first book because it was 60 pages, split it up into 3 segments, and then added in some filler stuff, and that'll all be in book 2 for everybody. And then I'll do a recap of how that all works. So this is Kronos. He's kind of telling the stories, and the idea is that these filler pages are effectively like fact files. I think DC did some, and Marvel also did something similar. And the idea is a bit like in Lord of the Rings, where they had the songs and the poetry. It all built the backstory without you actually having like a massive data dump. So it's kind of like takes you through bits and pieces about how the world is built. So yeah, just those pieces there. No, it's right. Okay, 2 questions to ask. Answer there. The ink that I'm using. Black India Rapid. Yeah, you go Rapidograph ink. That's the ink that I'm using at the moment. And so yeah, there you go, Spot Blacks. And George, yes, I'm looking to launch the campaign in September and fulfill again in January. So exactly the same timeline there, as the same schedule as the last book. So yeah, it's so there's a little bit of a show and tell there for that art. I'm using a 180 GSM Bristol board. It's just quite a lightweight board, but it means that I can print off the blue line pencils, and it works perfectly. And it's a nice piece of art as well. You know, as far as the board and the textures and everything, it's just a nice thing to have. And there's some. We'll be showing some more Outliers stuff on Fulton Land. I did some more pages today for Joe. So there'll be more of that coming on Thursday. Like I was saying earlier, I'm absolutely enjoying it at the moment. Doing the inks by hand, and surprisingly, I've sped up. I'm faster than I was when I was digital. I think what I got to a point with digital where, because the lines were perfect, because I was using what's the name of it again? Lazy Nezumi. I was using that to like smooth the lines, and I got a particular look for book 1 of Only Death Can Save Us. I was very, very pleased with. But it meant that I was kind of almost searching for the perfect line every time. And the great thing about traditional artwork is that you get one go at it. If you're fortunate and you work it out right, maybe you can use your what are they called? Posca. These are great. Maybe you can use your white out or get some white out and use a brush on it or whatever. But for most of the time, you've got to get it right, and it means that you get on. Just you go, okay, that's not the perfect line, but it looks pretty good. I'll go with that. Whereas with the digital stuff, you'd kind of obsess about it a little bit, or I certainly would. So I'm finding that I'm actually speeding up. I'm doing maybe 2, sometimes 3 of these a day at the moment. So, and that's not like 6 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. That's a reasonable working day. So I've got capacity to add in more if I need it. Obviously, it does depend on how detailed the pages are and all the rest of it. The style actually that I've got for, if you look at that stuff, for instance, there for Joe's work, it's a little bit more detailed. So there's more texture in the outliers stuff than there is certainly in the current Only Death Can Save Us. But I'm going to be playing with textures in the second book. Not a million miles away from the first book. It's still going to have the same essence, the same feel. But yeah, I'm kind of moved on a step, so quite pleased with that. Oh, right, okay, here we go. So yes, it is. Thank you, George. It's so nice to hear people say that about your work. It's great. Oh, there you go. I figured it would have been. Yeah, you know your shit, Scotsman. That launch these projects. I really look forward to them, and it helps get me through the day. No, thank you for being part of them. It's so important, the feedback that you get, and to know that you're connecting with people via your stories. I mean, so I saw a post today on Facebook, and they were saying, "What do you consider to be success?" And so many people were saying, "Oh, it's connecting with your audience, and or it's like getting a lot of praise from your peers, and success is this, that." And it's like, well, no, it's a combination of the two. It's like, you want to make money from this. It's a business, and the point of it being is that you are producing something of such a quality that people will pay for it. But at the same time, and this is of equal importance, you are driven to be a storyteller. Whether it's sequential stories, or whether you're writing it, or whether you're doing both, you're driven to be a storyteller. And a lot of the reasoning behind that connection is being a storyteller is connecting to the audience, is trying to get your inner thought processes and ideas and concepts and views on the world, life, whatever, out to other people. And when you connect in that way, it's a special thing. So to have people waiting on your books, or at the very least sort of being interested in what you're doing, is just it's an amazing thing. It really is. But success is really difficult to measure. You could say someone like EVS is like the most successful because of the amount of money he's making, and good on him. You got to be impressed by what he's doing. But I have to say, it isn't all about that for me. I do want to be in a situation where my work demands, or my work not demands, where my work garners some kind of appreciation by people that that people appreciate it for what it is, and that it does the job it does, and it's of a particular standard. That's a measure of success. But I think also connecting with people to the point that, you know, that it's kind of like you get involved with comics. Nobody gets involved with comics because they want to make a lot of money. But if you're doing it right, you can at least make a career out of it. And the doing of it right isn't just making pretty pictures. It's about connecting with people that want to read your stuff, that get involved in your artwork, and being able to do what we do now, like what I'm doing right now, streaming, drinking whiskey, talking about my cat, and people coming on and taking an interest in what I'm doing. That's it's like being at a convention every day, but a good convention. So I don't know if you call me. Um, but thank you, George. But you become, whoops. Digital inks so nice, become way too precious with your lines, and I end up rendering things that will never be seen. Yes, that's exactly it. That is exactly it. Whereas this is kind of real. It's kind of real. It is real. Finally, someone who gets it. Thank you, Mighty Geek Studios. Thank you for coming. Quill and brush is fire and forget. Yeah, it's about the size of it. Oh, wait, you're doing 2-3 panels a day or 2-3 pages a day? 2-3 pages. 2-3 pages, George. So yeah, I did last week. I 3 pages, but what's in the panels? God, this is just, I've got a dump of comments. Hi, gang. Hello, Art. I'll read. Thank you for being here. Right, yeah, it's good, Chris. It's putting down the rain and wind here, thundering and such. Might lose power again. Wow, I thought we were going to have it bad. Right. EVS measures success by how many people like his books. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. Man, that seems fast when I understand. Isn't a page a day the norm? Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, that's just the inks. I reckon I could do a page a day, pencils and inks, quite comfortably. So I'm just doing the inks for the pencils that I've already done. So 2 pages a day, and occasionally, depending on the balance of content, I could maybe knock out 3. And that's what I'm saying. I've sped up from the digital process, and just like the Scotsman was saying, you get so bogged down and involved in the digital stuff because you can zoom in. The problem with like using the Wacom, it really is great. You get a good interaction from the Wacom, which is why I'm still using it for penciling. I still think it's the quicker process. It's really easy to use. Clip Studio is great as well. Wonderful pencils in that. So it is a great process, and you've got this Wacom, and but when you need to do slightly finer detail, that obviously in the real world you can't zoom in. You just get closer to the board and use smaller strokes. But you can't quite see it properly, so you have to zoom in. And then what you do is you end up putting too much detail in, or not too much, because oh yeah, okay, sometimes too much. And exactly like Scotsman's saying, is you don't end up seeing it in the final print. I tend to try and limit myself as to how much I'm going in. So because I've kind of caught myself putting too much in, but out in the world, when you're inking with a brush and a pen, you don't have those options. And I don't know, there's something kind of lively about it. I don't know what I've got something here. I've got I have this up as part of my part of my inspiration. It's a poster by John Buscema and Joe Sinnott, and I think this is roughly the size that he drew at, and this for me, this is enough detail. I know that other people love putting in lots of cross hatching and extra stuff and texturing and what have you, and some of that artwork it blows me away, absolutely blows me away. But this is the kind of the way that I want to work. And so if you look at the way that this is textured, it's simple stuff, really. It's economy of line, and that's, for me, that's perfect comic strip, when you've got that economy of line but you're still producing emotional, dynamic work that has gravitas, that has purpose, and that tells a good story. And that's what I'm aiming at. So and I found that stuff that I'd looked at when I was younger, thinking that it was perfect, and coming back to it now and realizing it wasn't perfect, and that's kind of why it was so perfect, because it had this wonderful life, had this wonderful energy to the lines. So that's kind of what's driven me to go all the way into traditional work. Doesn't mean I don't still do digital inking. I do. Now that I'm thinking properly and I'm starting to balance myself, it's become quicker than it was. But it just depends on the kind of work. Also, what's really important as well is to have real artwork available for people in the campaigns, and that's something that Joe was very, very big on, which is why he wanted me to do everything traditionally, so that he could have that artwork to sell on, so that people could enjoy it and feel like they were even more part of the production process by having that original artwork. And that's also something I wanted to do for Only Death as well. I only managed to do that for like 4 or 5 items in the first book, but like I said earlier on, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go all the way with this one and do the whole lot traditionally. So where are we? Thank you. Yeah, that I have to say, Buscema and Sinnott they're my pinnacle. The run on that Sinnott did over multiple pencilers on Fantastic Four was just an amazing standard to set, and to hit so much consistency. So just brilliant stuff. So yeah, I think formatively they're my top pairing. Although I have started to really appreciate a lot of the other inkers that worked over Buscema's work, and a lot of other pencilers as well. But yeah, they really do it for me. So I think that's pretty much what I'm driving at, that kind of look and feel. But as I was saying, I'm putting a little bit more texture in to the stuff I'm doing for Joe, and things will move on. And I've got some ideas, some wacky ideas for books 4, 5, and 6, if I can get that far. There will definitely be books 1, 2, and 3 for Only Death Can Save Us, and we'll see what response I get at the end of the 3 books, and if there's still room for it, then there'll be a 4, 5, 6. This is great. Yes, yeah, yeah. That's something that I've found. I was doing trees, and it's the flicks that you get. It's so much more organic. I think that's the thing. I think that's the point there, Mighty Geek. It's just that much more organic. We can't we all can't be Bernie Wrightson, nor should we. God, that man was just fantastic. No, I don't think I could draw like him if I tried. but I love him. Yeah, I love Bernie Wrightson. I've got a book of his art recently. Here's a great yes. I've decided that's the way forward. That's definitely. Oh wow. This monster. Yes. Yeah, well, classic. Classic stuff. Thank you, Zaid. Or Phil. Right, okay. I've actually gone 15 minutes over the top. What I'll do is I'll when I'm finished this, I'll post it up for everybody to see. Because I'm pretty much done now. I'm gonna have to go to bed and let the cat wake me up at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. BB Black Docker finished as well. So this illustration has been brought to you by Rapida Graphics, Funaki Pens, I don't know how to say Tombow, and Pentel. There you go. So for those people who are watching on the replay, thank you very much. Everybody else, or for everybody, if you could hit the subscribe button, that would really help out. I'm on about 718 at the moment. I'd love to get up to 1,000. That would be so cool. You can find me on the usual places, Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. Hit those likes and shares and all the rest of it. That'd be really good. Really helps the channel. Thank you. You can also find out more about me at russleach.com and comicbookblackbelt.com. Obviously, the YouTube channel, Comic Book Black Belt. And you can find out more about Only Death Can Save Us at onlydeathcansavus.com. It's available. The first book is still available until the 2nd of July, and then I'll be taking down the in-demand store then. And you'll also be able to see reprints of the first book through Arrow Comics in August. And then in the second book, which the campaign should be starting in September, 1st of September, you'll be able to get the whole bundle. You'll be able to get everything. So thanks everybody for turning up. I had such a full room tonight of some absolutely uber talented people and wonderful people in the chat. Thank you. I think that's about it. Like I say, like, share, subscribe, the usual YouTubey things, and go find out about the book at onlydeathcansavus.com. You can also find me on a Thursday with Joe Fulton at Fulton Land. We'll be talking about Outliers and other comics stuff. Occasionally I go find Sim and Sugar, and also hang around Indie Vault. Go check those guys out. They could do with subscribing with a subscription increase as well. They do some great streams. They had some great guests on, so go check those guys out. And they are truly independent. So that's it for tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming and being in the chat. Like I say, I'll post this up on Twitter so everybody can see it when I'm finished. I should be finished sometime in the next couple of days, because I've got some other stuff to do in the meantime. Loads of Outliers stuff to do. And I'll be back next week for some more work in the dojo. Thanks very much for being here. Thanks everybody who's been maybe watching this on the replay. Like I say, like, share, subscribe, and I'm off to bed now because I'm going to get woken up by my cat at about 4 o'clock. Thank you. Bye-bye. Cheers.